All right, there we go. So now we're getting started. There is a Q&A chat room inside of the RECOUPERS group. It says live call Q&A chat with today's date on there. In that chat, you will see the agenda for today. And I'm only going to be talking in the beginning, and then Tom and I will be talking at the end to do Q&A. In that chat, please, just a few housekeeping rules. Do not unmute your mic to ask a question. Don't do any of those things. All I'm asking you to do is type it in the chat. At the very end, Tom and I will be reading out the questions that we feel that were not answered on the call or that are not answered in the 1522 room. Let me say it again. When you come into the room, please mute. Then if you go into the RECOUPERS group, you will see a folder or a topic folder that says live call Q&A chat 12/7/2024 only. In that chat, if you have a question, you can go in there and type your question there. Do not come on to the call with unmuting yourself or any of that, because I would mute you immediately. All your questions need to go into the chat. You should be able to see it. Let me know if you guys can see it. Okay, great. I see some people have hearted it, so obviously it's visible for people to see it. Great. So that's a few housekeeping rules. I appreciate everybody. Thank you guys so much for whoever came on. Please mute yourself. Please come on. I appreciate all that you guys are doing in the group, all the communication, all the comments. Bear in mind, there's over 3,500 members in this group since the end of August. How amazing is Jeremy? How amazing is the 903, right? And we're just so grateful that he's brought this community together for us, and we have an opportunity to kind of share and grow and unlearn and relearn together. Nobody is in here as an expert. Let's be very clear on that. Everybody here is doing what we can, and we're supporting each other. So please be patient. Understand that we're here to support one another, and just keep it positive, and know that we appreciate you. We see all your comments. We see all your posts, and I'm just here trying to manage it the best way that we can. Okay? So with that being said, I'm going to have the 903 Jeremy come on, and majority of the people are not going to be on video, just so you know. They're just going to be on audio talking. Do not, and again, let me just reiterate, do not unmute your mic to ask a question. Please do it in the chat. And then I and Tom will go through that at the end of everything. Okay? Thank you guys so much. Now, the 903, Jeremy, are you ready? He's here. Maybe he can't unmute right now. And if not, that's okay.
Let me start with a prayer, Dr. Heather.
Okay, sure. Go ahead, Kim Marie. Okay, thank you.
Our Father,
Can you hear me now?
which art in heaven, hallowed. Yep, we can hear you. Come on.
All right, sorry about that.
You came on right as I said, our Father. Bring it on, baby.
Yeah, I'm almost to the house. I got this background noise, this truck driving, so I'll be about 30 seconds.
I'll go ahead and read the prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those that trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory, forever and ever, all equal. Amen.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim Marie, for that. We're just waiting for Jeremy to get to his destination, and then he'll pipe in. But Kim Marie, if you want to say anything in the meantime before he comes on, this is your slot.
I'm not sure what there is to say at this moment, except for Nathan was on our call the other day and he came on at the very end and said, "This is the day that the Lord hath made." So, Nathan, I'm going to have you be singing that song here very soon. It just filled my heart up, and being in this group and this community with everybody is more than a dream come true, because I didn't really know how it would look. And this is exactly what it looks like. And so I'm a little bit humbled by the whole experience, and we're all here locked arms. And you know, I think loyalty is the best expression of true love. And we found ourselves with a group of loyal humans. So I'm grateful to be here. Thank you, Dr. Heather.
You're more than welcome. We're so grateful to have you and Jeremy to be the pioneers and the trailblazers as we all learn how to be good stewards over our states and our lives, and good record keepers and bookkeepers and good reporters and all the things. So really, really grateful. Jeremy, are you there?
I am.
Okay, carry on. The mic is yours.
All right. How y'all doing today? I hope everybody's doing great. Thank y'all for being here. This is truly a dream come true, having everybody kind of organize and share this information freely. I set out at the beginning of the year with a couple of people that didn't pan out, but I set out at the beginning of the year to, one, get these gatekeepers kind of under wraps, and then all the information and stuff, get it out to to a community, to a group of people, just the people in general, so that we could start vetting the information ourselves and do it as a community. I knew that we had the ability to unify and get all this done. I knew that we were fully capable of vetting this information and figuring it out for ourselves, instead of all of us, at that time early in, and just a couple of years ago, starting out all this. We come across a lot of roadblocks, a lot of hurdles with the information, because people just wasn't giving us complete information. So that's what this community was created for, was to vet all this information, be able to get it out to the people for free. We want to lessen all these burdens and stuff, and all these roadblocks and hurdles that people come across trying to receive this information. And if you've been paying attention here in the RECOUPERS chat, folks are posting their receipts. So it's real. I've had some wonderful ladies come and help me out in this process. I couldn't, like I said, it's a dream come true. I've got folks here organizing this group with me. I've got folks pressing the issue, sharing content, really rallying the troops around this information, because it's liberating and it's a revolution. And folks like Dr. Heather and Kimry are pivotal in that. They come through at the right time. I knew they'd be here. I put faith in that. I kept moving forward. I kept putting the information out. I kept putting my authentic self out so that I could get someone to resonate with my message, and it's more than resonated. So happy to be here, happy to see so many people here, and especially my core group here that's forming. I'm highly appreciative of y'all. So thank y'all very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Like I said, from the bottom of my heart, personally, this group has been a blessing to me, and just seeing how everybody interacts and building community. I'm so grateful for you, for Kim Marie, for everybody, Walter, everybody that comes in and knowledge and their nuggets. It's not just one, it's a community, it's a team effort. So appreciative and grateful. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it leaves the room for people to step up and take charge and lead in different aspects. There's no holding anybody back. The floor is open for anybody that wants to come out front and charge ahead. If you figure it out and you learn the information, you're going to be thrusted to the front. I mean, that's just the way it is. Leadership is it's a recycling thing. You got to learn to lead and follow. And we do a damn good job here doing that. So I appreciate y'all. A lot of maturity, a lot of professionalism, and a lot of love.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Dr. Heather, I think it would be awesome to just hear from some people, their gratitudes. If that works in the agenda, if we could start with just a few people sharing what it's been like for them to get a hold of this knowledge and really be set free you know, to be the stewards. What do you think about that?
That's awesome. I think if we can get 4 people do that, if you want to do that in the chat, in the live call Q&A chat, I want you to go in there and put a heart, just 1 heart. Let's see if you guys can follow instructions. Just 1 heart. I need 4 people. And then I'll allow you to unmute your mic. Okay, we have our first one. Miss 432, Tone Lily, unmute your mic, sweetie. Let's hear from you.
There, I see green.
Oh.
So, first it was a hand up, you're unmuted, and then now I see green. So
Awesome.
I'm excited about this. And I love the prayer that Kim Ray said, and she said something important at the end, all equal. Amen. I'm in agreement.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. Latria Brown, HLT. Come on, unmute your mic, sweetie.
Hey everybody, greetings and gratitude. I'm just so full right now, and it's been a long road. All of us have been, on this quest, really, more specifically since the pandemic. And I'm just glad everybody is forging ahead, moving forward with the same mindset. Hey, Kimmery. Hey, Jay. And thank you, Dr. Heather, for your diligence, for your organization, because I don't know who else could have done this. Again, gratitude. Everybody, I'm ready. Let's go.
Thank you. I received that. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. T, you're up. T Royal. I'm sorry. T Royal. Unmute your mic, please. Gratitude, gratitude. Okay, she has some background noise. Okay, that's fine. We can also do some more gratitude towards the end too. Leonard Pierreville? I'm sorry if I'm messing up your name. I apologize.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Is this Leonard? Am I saying it right?
Works. That'll work.
Okay. Sorry.
How are you all?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. What am I grateful for? Grateful for you guys. Grateful for being alive. Grateful for all the information you guys are willing to share with us. Uh, I didn't know any of this. I wasn't aware of any of this until probably a couple months ago. I clicked on one video on YouTube and it just from there I ended up here. So I'm grateful for that video and for being on here, and thank you for sharing everything that you guys are sharing with us and helping us, all of us, learn something different and try to unlearn what we've been taught forever. And I'm great. I have a 4-month-old son, and I'm grateful for him. So God has blessed me with him, so I'm grateful for that as well. But thank you, Temery. Thank you, and Miss Heather. Is that your name?
Yes, Dr. Heather.
Dr. Heather. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you too. Thank you so much for sharing and giving gratitude.
And they're just a fair warning. They eventually become teenagers, just to let you know.
Oh yes, I have all my friends have kids. I was the only one, and I'm 38. So everybody around me have kids, and I've seen it. So try to get myself ready for that.
You'll do just fine. Thank God for you. Perseverance is all. Thank you so much. We have time for probably 2 more people that want to give gratitude. Let's keep this gratitude going before we jump right in. Don't be shy. We can come back to it. Okay. The next thing on our agenda is for Josh to come on and start sharing his experience with the 1522 and his testimony. Josh, do you want to kick that off? Are you ready to do that?
I am ready to rock and roll.
All right. Thank you so much.
Can you hear me loud and clear?
We got
you can. Okay, cool. So I'm going to speak on the 1522, which is one of the rooms there. And the first time I even heard about the 1522 was Kim Marie on a recording, on an accidental recording. She thought it was Monday. She gets her days mixed up. She thought she was doing her regular Monday live. It happened to be Sunday. And Empress came on the mic because for some reason Empress was called to listen to the accidental live that Kim Marie was doing. So obviously no accidents here. This is all divinely guided. So it was a recording that I was listening to as soon as it hit. And I heard about this 1522. And I found it to be very interesting, to say the least. It did bring me back to some stuff I had been doing in the last few years, studies that I've been doing on coupons, which are part of your utility bill. And I actually had a Telegram group with like 500 people in there, and I started it, and I was driving hard on the coupon. Let me tell you what. I knew there was something to it, but anyways, when the 1522 came into my purview last Sunday, or after that recording, it came back to the coupon, right, or a bond, for what we know now as a bond. That statement with the coupon at the bottom is technically a bond. So I said, okay, what are you trying to tell me, Lord? I mean, what are we? So I said, okay, now my week this week is going to be the 1522, and I said I'm gonna go down this trail. Another part of this is I'm still working. I have my own business. I lay tile for a living. I've laid tile. I've been on my knees for 31 years laying tile. And God gave me this past week where He did not put any work on my plate. And He's also done that for the next 2 weeks, much to my wife's chagrin. But I know that wasn't an accident either. So I get into Monday and start doing my due diligence, right? I'm just studying, looking at this 1522, looking at what Empress said, re-listening to the recordings. And what was told for me to do was to get into the bank and get these medallion stamps. It's like, okay, this is part of the equation. I need to get into the bank. So I go through Monday, I go through Tuesday, a study. And when I say study, that's pretty broad. I do a lot of meditating / praying / asking for answers. So what I was after those couple days of that, I had been called to set up a meeting with my bank manager at US Bank, one of the big guys, who is the only one after I called on Tuesday that can do the medallions. So got it set up for 9 a.m. I wanted to be there first person at his desk on 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning. So I go in there with my two forms. They happen to be the 5188 and the 5444. These are fiscal services forms. They have to do with TDA accounts. And it was part of the equation for me. So I go in, I'm sitting in front of him, and he looks at my documents. He says, well, I'm going to need a quarterly statement for this to be able to do these medallion stamps. And I said, well, to be honest with you, I haven't run any securities through my TDA account yet. And I don't even know where I would get that. So I'll be honest with you, I don't know about anybody else's journey, but sometimes we hit these roadblocks, right? Where the bank manager or It could be anybody, and it's a gatekeeper, or whatever you want to call him, but it's just a roadblock, right? So I'm sitting in his office at 9:05, and I'm thinking, okay, here comes a roadblock. So I said, let me step out. Let me go out in the lobby, and I'll get onto my TDA account on my phone here and see if I can figure out how to email you or get you what you need. So I'm in the lobby of US Bank at 9:10 in the morning. Um, I'm looking on my TDA account. There's nowhere to download a quarterly statement or do anything like that. And I had never done that before. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do here? I said, well, I'm going to call fiscal services. I don't know what else to do. Maybe somebody there can show me how to download my quarterly statement and get it emailed to this gentleman. So I call him up, and much to my pleasant surprise, there's a gentleman on the other line, and he's very, very helpful. I tell him what I'm doing. I tell him the forms I have, the 5188, the 5444. And I said, it's my understanding that I need to get the medallion stamped. And he's looking through his deal. I'm probably looking at the forms, or he already knows it by heart. And he says, you just need a notary on that. Just get it notarized while you're there at the bank. He said, make sure you do it at the bank, but get it notarized at the bank. I said, okay, beautiful. So that cleared that obstacle, which is awesome. And then I said, well, I'm talking to myself at this point. I'm like, well, I can't just hang up now. I've got to talk to this guy because he's forthcoming with information. I said, well, I'm doing all this in preparation for doing the 1522. And my understanding on that is, as well as we need a medallion signature. And I don't know, like I said, if he knows it by heart or if he pulled it up, he's looking at it. He says, no, that's the same thing. You just need a notary. But he said, make sure you get it from the bank. He was very specific about that. And I don't know if that's what that means. I'm just giving my testimony. So I said, okay, great. So this medallion stamp, according to him, obstacle from the banks, it looks like maybe they're trying to eliminate that. I don't know. This is just my opinion, but I'm like, great. I mean, they're making it a little easier here. So a couple other things. I'm thinking, what else can I ask him? And I heard Empress say something about endorsing the back with specific language, and I brought it forward to him. I said, hey, when I do send my bonds in, I've heard that I need to do this, and he said, no. He said the form, the notary, the bonds you have attached, and everything will speak for itself. We know what to do. He said, just make sure you have your account that you want the funds put in on the form. And he said, right now we're running 7 to 10 days. And as long as everything's in order, you should get that. And then he offered this up. I didn't ask him. He offered this up, but he realized I was doing stuff with the TDA account. He said, this has nothing to do with your TDA account, which I found profound, because I came in with 2 forms that had to do with the TDA account. So I'm like, I'm learning as I go, right? I mean, I have a clean heart, I'm in honor. I'm just serving, right? So I'm like, okay, great. So he made that real clear. And then he just stopped talking, and I'm sitting there. I honestly, I was flabbergasted at the US Bank lobby at 9:15 in the morning, just sitting there going, okay, this is it, right? I mean, so I couldn't think of anything else to ask him. He said, you have any more questions? Call us right back. So I went ahead and got my 5188 and 5444 notarized, just because, I don't know where that's going to come in the equation, but I was there. So I went ahead and did that. That had to do with the TDA account. And that was that for now. The other part of Wednesday was when I was getting myself notarized. It was a younger gal, probably mid-20s. It was doing it for me, and I was able to share kind of what I was doing. And I told her, "Hey, I'll be back with the 1522 that I need notarized." So, along with trying to figure things out for myself and for this group, and being able to share whatever, I realized I was able to open a little window for this younger, and she's I just gave her a little bit, and she's like, "Whoa, yeah, I want to learn. If you'll share with me, I'd appreciate it." That also happened here on Friday. I went into the bank with a different bank manager. It was an older gentleman, and he said, he was the bank manager, not the notary. He said, anything you will share with me, I appreciate it, because my family, we don't have extra. So anyways, this spreads, like, because people, this resonates, right? They can tell you're coming with a clean hands and in honor. So that was Wednesday. And since then, I've still just doing my due diligence, looking at what has been put into the 1522 room. And I'm using my own discernment on what needs to be done. And I've done some things myself that I felt like I needed to do, and got some things sent in to Minnesota. But we all have to use our own discernment on this. And as we go along, we can share, our successes, or maybe speed bumps, or whatever it is. But we're serving each other. And when you put forth energy to go into the bank, or study for an hour, or do whatever you do, you're actually fueling the group, and you're putting energy into this collective, which is a beautiful thing. And I honor everyone here that's on this call, listening, doing their own study, staying up at night, and it's time away from your family, but this is for the greater good, and we're going to get to the next level. But I honor everything all you all are doing, and I appreciate everyone here, and it's a pleasure. Like I said in the chat, it's a pleasure to serve with all of you, and that is pretty much completes my testimony. I mean, there's a lot of ins and outs on that 1522, and we can work those out between us. So I think I'll conclude there. And again, I appreciate everyone here. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua, for that. That was amazing. He just gave us his personal experience, walked us through exactly what he did, and that was amazing. That was a blessing. And he gave so many good nuggets in there that I can call out later, but that was amazing. Kim Marie, do you want to have anything to say about what he just said? And then we'll have Kevin come up right after that, and we'll start going through the tutorial as well. Or Jeremy, anybody have any leadership? You have any comments?
Yeah, I'll just read real quick a context while Jeremy's grabbing his mic. I wanted to read what Walter Nutt and several of us Lions in the Lion's Den have been working on for a little while, and it just so happened that we tripped over this underlying context of documentation. So I will put it in the chat later, but this is going to set it up for those that are going to come after me to share about this. Above and beyond any legal requirements applicable to savings bonds, the department should take all appropriate action to make sure that those Americans who invested in the future success of their country have the opportunity to receive the remuneration, got a misspelling in there, but it's remuneration, to which they are lawfully entitled. Under my administration, the department has already undertaken significant measures to reunite matured savings bonds with their rightful owners. For example, the department in 2019 released an online tool known as Treasury Hunt to help individuals determine if they are the owners of matured, unredeemed savings bonds. This order is the next step in ensuring that owners of matured savings bonds have a full opportunity to redeem their bonds. And that's exactly what Josh just stated to us. And you can find that under the Federal Register, promoting redemption of savings bonds, a presidential document by the Executive Office of the President, 12/23/2020. Thank you.
Kimmery, that's also when we gained the ability to start submitting all these documents.
I really think they've been paving the way and clearing out the dross, patching up all the quicksand, removing all the Burberry patch.
Yeah, we had several movements derailing people. And that kicked off in 2018 when all that shit started to come to surface and started getting spread like it was truth, but it was just propaganda. And we gave those guys some pretty big hits as far as, the lies and stuff. We went through all their processes, went through their paperwork, and we got down to the bottom of where they were going wrong. And one of the big things was this financial side. They didn't really mention it much, and for good reason. They didn't want us coming over here and vetting this, but I knew if I could put a community in it, nothing, they couldn't hide anything, and we would figure it all out. So we know these as American state national and state national movements. Right. So they didn't really teach much. They writing a lot of stuff, but there were some key elements that they were misleading folks on. And I don't think they really knew themselves, because a lot of those guys over there legitimately thought that this was the way to go until we opened up this door to the backside of banking and teaching people what their consideration is. Who are they really in the system? Once that started hitting, all these nefarious movements kind of went belly up whenever they were confronted with this information, because it made their whole movement inaccurate. So just let y'all know, we follow the instructions. We use source information. All right. And that source information are the instructions attached to the forms. All right. So as long as we know what we're reading, we ain't got nothing to worry about. Right. And this is a clear path moving forward. No violence. None of that's required. We simply do our due diligence, and that's it. We apply ourselves and we learn who we are. We're infinite beings with infinite abundance and perfect health.
That was awesome. That was amazing. Thank you both. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Kimmery. Thank you, Jeremy. Kevin, thank you for joining us today. I know that you have a prior engagement and you're stepping out to help us right now at this moment. So
actually, this is how the Lord works. He freed up my schedule.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Well, this is your session, buddy. Take it away. Do what you need to do. If you want me to screen share, let me know. But
no, I'll screen share because I'm actually at my booter.
You go ahead. Have your way. Thank you.
All right, everybody see this?
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing me to have some time to help enlighten you on a few things here. And this is the way I study with a lot of folks that I study with. Okay. I always have many sets of eyes on a document, and we will take turns reading the said document, but for time's savings today, I will do the reading. But many eyes see many different things and see many different interpretations. And that's why I like to do it that way, because they can bring up, points of attention right away, and we can dissolve any kind of hesitancy or, clarification that might not be there. We can always just get to the chase, right?
So, many hands make light work, Kevin.
Thank you, Brian-san. Okay, so here we
Awesome.
are. A special form of request for payment of United States savings and retirement securities where use of a detached request is authorized. This is FS Form 1522. Important. Follow instructions in filling out this form. Making any false, fictitious, or fraudulent claim or statement to the United States is a crime and may be prosecuted. Print in ink or type all information. You know, one of the things that we found is that the people in the back office, and these folks are in the back office, they love to see handwriting because it proves that there is somebody with a pen who is 100% available and response able to handle the business at hand. Okay. 1, description of bonds. I am the owner or person entitled to payment of the securities described below, which bear the names of, this would be the all capital letter name, or whatever the bond has on its surface as the name. So it could be your first last, your first middle initial last, could be your full first middle last all caps name. Just make it coincide with what is on the presentment or bond. You've got 30 slots here to fill. Issue date and serial number. So I would look on that bond and find the issue date. And frankly, if you've got any type of financial statement, they're going to show you when the account was opened, right? That would be your issue date. And then the serial number, it's my knowledge, would be the account number. But when you have a bond or coupon or statement, that information is inherently there. Okay. If you need more space, attach either a list or FS Form 3500. I didn't see this the other day. But, oh, there it is. Look at that little gem. Number 2, instructions for direct deposit payment. That seems very important. The payee must provide a Social Security number or employer identification number. Social Security number of payee or employer identification number of payee. So let's say you've got an LLC or a sole prop or something out there that's an EIN that you do business through, and you're paying certain statements, i.e. bonds. You could definitely use this for that same thing for entity. The name or names on the account. Bank routing number, 9 digits, by the way, all bank routing numbers, even through your, just to give you a little background. So I was a senior vice president, financial consultant with TD Ameritrade Schwab. I started my career with TD Ameritrade, Legacy Green, go all the way. I started as a frontline broker. So I was completing, anywhere between 150 to 250 trades on the market as a stockbroker for our clientele at TD Ameritrade. And at the time, we were the highest volume by far. You could add numbers 2 through 6 in the brokerage firm and still not to get to the daily volume that we were doing trading on the market for our clients. And that's how I started my career. So all routing numbers, 9 digits. Depositor's account number. This is where you would look on your check stub. The second series underneath the Micker line should be the account number. Put your account number there and the type of account, whether it's a savings account or checking. Then you put your financial institution's name, i.e. the name of the bank, the name of the brokerage firm, etc., and their phone number. And this is going to be their back office number, okay? Page 2. 3, signature. I prefer autograph, but we'll call it signature. Under penalties of perjury, I certify that 1, the number shown on this form is my correct taxpayer identification number, or I am waiting for a number to be issued to me. And 2, I am not subject to backup withholding because A, I am exempt from backup withholding, or B, I have not been notified by the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, that I am subject to backup withholding as a result of a failure to report all interest or dividends. Or C, and by the way, we fall into that category, folks, because we haven't been reported to by the financial institution that are keeping the records. C, the IRS has notified me that I'm no longer subject to backup withholding. And 3, I am a U.S. person, which is different than citizen, I might add, including a U.S. resident alien. If you were born here, you're an alien to everything that they do. You're technically an American national. Note, you must cross out item 2 above if you have been notified by the IRS that you are currently subject to backup withholding because you have failed to report all interest and dividends on your tax return. Certification. If the current redemption value, see instructions, and we're going to get to those instructions very soon here because they're beautiful. If the current redemption value of your bonds totals $1,000 or less, your signature need not be certified. You may simply sign the form and enclose a current copy of your driver's license, passport, state ID, or military ID. If the current redemption value of your bonds totals more than $1,000, sign this form in the presence of a notary or certifying officer. Just a quick note on a notary. What is a notary? That is a member of the de jure government of that particular state. They are a judge. It is a judgment. See the importance? Fun. Complete in ink, if required. See certification above. Sign in the presence of a notary or certifying officer. There you've got your form. Sign right there in the witness of a notary public. Print your address, social security number, date, time, phone number, and email address. Now this is for if, say, like in my instance, I've got a car note that's in both me and my wife Jane's name. So I would have her information here as well, because believe me, that is a pooled investment from both of our Social Security accounts. Okay. So you would have the second signer sign here. And here is where your notary is going to sign. Instructions to notary or certifying officer. Names of the persons who appeared and date of appearance must be completed. 2, if a medallion stamp is used, an original signature is required. Persons must be in your presence. And let me clarify what that medallion stamp is for. A medallion stamp is simply the verification of the signature that you are who you say you are. Okay? That's all it signifies. And when the bank or brokerage firm or whoever is doing the medallion stamp, they guarantee your signature up to the amount of what the medallion stamp color is. And there is a different value for each stamp that they give you. The good one is the gold one, and that's up to $10 million, okay? Just a little background information. You may leave this blank if your bonds are worth $1,000 or less, and you enclose an ID named above in certification. See, this is real simple, folks. Good stuff. Now let's get to the instructions. Use of form. Use this form to request payment of United States savings bonds, savings notes. Note, look up the definition of note, and believe me, we're going to have some fun with that. Retirement plan bonds and individual retirement bonds. Who may complete? This form may be completed by the owner, co-owner, surviving beneficiary. I would like to say benefactor because it has a higher status and standing as the true owner of the trust rather than beneficiary, because a beneficiary is legally incompetent, or legal representative of the estate of a deceased or incompetent owner. Kim Marie always talks about the blue card person. Well, the blue card person is simply that, a person which is a name on a sheet of paper. And guess what? They can't sign for themselves. They have no ability to do so because it's just a name on a piece of paper. Persons entitled to the estate of a deceased registrant or such other persons who may be entitled, the document holder, to payment under the regulations governing United States savings bonds. A minor, which they consider you all to be, unless you've changed your status and standing, a minor may sign this form if, in the option of the notary or certifying officer, he or she is of sufficient competency to understand the nature of the transaction. An incompetent person may not sign this form. Completion of form. Print clearly in ink or type all information requested. That's very simple. Item 1, description of bonds. Provide the names of the persons shown on the inscription of the bonds for which payment is requested. Describe the bonds by issue date and serial number, which we've already covered. Item 2, instructions for direct deposit payment. The payee's taxpayer identification number must be provided. Furnish the Social Security number if the payee is an individual. If an estate, trust, or other entity is involved, and IRS has assigned an employer identification number, provide that number. Furnish the names on the account number, the type of account. Do you see where the transition just happened here, folks? I thought we were talking about bonds. Furnish the names on the account number, the type of account, in the financial institution's name. The routing transit number, which identifies the institution and the institution's phone number. You may need to contact the financial institution to obtain the routing number. And I'm going to verify and codify everything that we're talking about in bonds, accounts, whatever. But this is just for your payment. They want you to provide where the money needs to go, right? Please verify the account information for accuracy and legibility to avoid any delay in deposit. And I love this term, deposit, for your own study, folks. Item 3, signature. The persons requesting payment of the bonds must sign the form in ink, print his or her name, and provide his or her address, daytime telephone number, and if applicable, email address. If the name of a person requesting payment has been changed by marriage or in any other legal manner from the name in the inscription of the bonds, the signature to the request for payment must show both names and in the manner in which the change was made. For example, Miss Mary T. Jones, now by marriage, Miss Mary T. Smith. It's simple. It's great. Awesome. Certification. To find the current redemption value of savings bonds of Series EE, Series E, Series I, or of savings notes. A note is an obligation. Who covers all notes? United States. It's huge. Use the savings bond calculator at treasurydirect.gov. Well, I'm sick and tired of doing trustee work, so I'm going to let them do that. Okay? If the current redemption value of your bonds totals $1,000 or less, your signature need not be certified. We get this again. Rather, when you sign the form, you may verify and identify by closing a current copy of your driver's license, passport, state ID, or military ID. For you state nationals, those who have gotten their state national passport, typically they're issued with a card, a passport card. You could use that as well. I might use my click, I'm not sure. If the current redemption value of your bonds totals more than $1,000, each person whose signature is required must appear before and establish identification to the satisfaction of a notary or authorized certifying officer. The signatures to the form must be signed in the presence of a notary or officer. The notary or certifying officer must affix their seal or stamp, which is used when certifying requests for payment. Authorized certifying officers are available at financial institutions. Josh told us, the bank told us that the fiscal services officer said, yeah, get it notarized at the bank. Okay. Including credit unions. In the United States, examples of acceptable seals and stamps: the seal or stamp of a notary, a financial institution's official seal or stamp, including signature guaranteed seal or stamp. That's what we used at the brokerage. Endorsement guaranteed seal or stamp, corporate seal or stamp. A corporate resolution isn't required. Or issuing a payment agent seal or stamp, including name, location, and 4-digit identification number or 9-digit routing number. A lot of banks have that. The seal or stamp of Treasury recognized signature guarantee programs or other Treasury approved medallion programs. Where to send? Unless otherwise instructed, send this form and the bonds, as well as any other appropriate forms. I'm probably going to send statements along with them showing the payments that I've made because I want to be reimbursed for those too, as evidence or identification records to the address listed below. Legal evidence or documentation you submit cannot be returned. So what I would suggest is just making a copy of it and putting in red certified copy, right? Treasury Retail Securities Services, P.O. Box 9150, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 55480-9150. There's the toll-free number that Josh called. Notice under the Privacy and Paperwork Reduction Acts. Now, this is where it gets good. The collection of the information you are requested to provide in this form is authorized by 31 U.S.C. Chapter 31. That is a place where you should pull up on your computers that act. relating to the public debt of the United States. Oh, I wonder what it says in there. The furnishing of a Social Security number, if requested, is also required by Section 6109 of the Internal Revenue Code, which is 26 USC 6109. The purpose of requesting the information is to enable the Bureau of Fiscal Services and its agents to issue securities, process transactions, make payments, identify owners and their accounts, and provide reports to the Internal Revenue Service. Furnishing the information is voluntary. However, without the information, the Fiscal Service may be unable to process transactions. Information concerning securities holdings and transactions is considered confidential under Treasury Regulations 31 CFR Part 323 and the Privacy Act. This information may be disclosed to a law enforcement agency for investigation purposes, courts and counsel for litigation purposes, other entitled to distribution or payment, agents and contractors to administer the public debt. I'll read that again. Agents and contractors to administer the public debt, agencies or entities for debt collection or to obtain current addresses for payment, agencies through approved computer matches, congressional offices in response to an inquiry by the individual to whom the record pertains, as otherwise authorized by law or regulation. We estimate it will take you about 15 minutes to complete this form. However, you are not required to provide information requested unless a valid OMB control number, which is at the top of the form, is displayed on the form. Any comments or suggestions regarding this form should be sent to the Bureau of Fiscal Services Forms Management Officer, Parkersburg, West Virginia, 26106-1328. Do not send completed form to the above address. Send to the address shown in Where to Send above. Wow, that's enlightening, kids. Now, here's another thing. So when Josh got done with his field trip, he was actually on his way to my house. And what he didn't tell you is he called me when he stepped out into the lobby. He said, "Man, I'm getting cock blocked here. I'm getting pissed." I said, No. Just continue what you're doing. And I figured I'd see him at the house in about 15 minutes. Well, like 45 minutes go by. I'm like, where's Josh? I wonder. Well, he called and told me exactly what happened to him, that he wonderfully regaled you all with. But later that afternoon, I got together with what I would call some other heavy hitters that I like to, preview and purview information with, just to verify the information. And we had a Zoom call that afternoon. And of course, one of my researchers is always about looking up exactly what they're talking about. Title 31 was exactly in that, that wonderful little circular that they just gave us. So we pulled up Title 31. Now, this is a good place for all of you to discern some incredible educational information. And the place I always like to start with, because they're talking about book entry securities and treasury securities. Treasury securities are maintained in one of the following book entry systems. There's 3 systems here: commercial book entry system, the legacy Treasury Direct system, or Treasury Direct. And it gives you a definition of how they're held there. That sure is interesting. The effective date, the definition of adverse claim book entry security, entitlement holder, Federal Reserve Bank, Operation Circular. That's Operation Circular 10, folks. Go ahead and write that in your notes and please go check that out. Funds account, issue, participant securities account, etc., etc. But now we get to the definitions, and I suggest all of you read through these definitions. Bond means an obligation of the United States with a term of more than 10 years, issued under Chapter 31 of Title 31 of the United States Code in book entry form. Well, the biggest bond that I know of that most people have is the biggest investment they'll ever make in their life, and that's a house, right? Typically, you get two styles of notes, either a 15-year contract mortgage or a 30-year. Well, that meets that requirement now, doesn't it? That sure is strange. Bill means an obligation of the United States with a term of not more than 1 year, issued at a discount in book entry form. Entitlement holder means a person to whose account and interest in a book entry security is credited on the records of a securities intermediary. The fiscal services is the securities intermediary who's responsible for paying you back what the United States owes you. You see how handy this is, folks? I mean, gosh, there's all kinds of good information here. Incompetent means an individual who is legally, medically, or mentally incapable of handling his or her business affairs, except that a minor is not an incompetent solely because of age. Wow. Note means an obligation of the United States with a term of at least 1 year, but of not more than 10 years, issued under Chapter 31 of Title 31 of the United States Code. When I purchased my car, that note was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, right? That falls right into that category now, doesn't it? So interesting. Owner, as used in subpart C, means the individual or individuals or entity, EIN, in whose name a security is registered. If the security is registered in more than one name, the term owner includes all those whose names appear on the registration and are authorized by this part to make a transaction request on the security held in Legacy Treasury Direct. Wow. Redemption means payment of a security at maturity, i.e., the merging of the legal and lawful titles, or pursuant to a call for redemption, because you're calling the bond, folks, in accordance with the terms of security. Securities intermediary means a person that is registered as a clearing agency, and that's how all brokerage firms are listed, as clearing. They're clearing houses under the federal securities law. A Federal Reserve Bank, any other person that provides clearance or settlement services with respect to book entry securities. That's all these people are doing, folks. Security entitlement means the rights and property interest of an entitlement holder with respect to a book entry security. That's all we're doing, folks. That's all we're doing. With that, I'm going to stop screen sharing and say, how you like me now? So please, if you have questions, if we want to do that, I'm not sure how you want to proceed. Dr. Heather.
Hey there, hey there. That was amazing. First off, thank you. That was amazing. That was the most comprehensive explanation. And I'm so grateful because I was getting so many nuggets just listening and watching the screen. I will point out that if you look in the chat that we have today, you will see the links to what he was speaking of, the actual documents, the different references for the links to the websites for, you can look up the codes and all of those things. So it's there. So I'm looking at the chat. A lot of the questions and stuff that's in there has been answered throughout this. This is being recorded, so you can go back and listen to it over and over and over again. And we recommend that.
And do yourself a favor and go to that second document and read those definitions. If you've got a question, it's going to be answered right there.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of some of the questions that were simple ones that I had put to the side that I saw them come through the chat. It's only just a few that I'm going to call out, and then we'll have you answer it. So number one, it came from, how do we find the back office number to the financial institution? I believe it was on page 2 of the document. You mentioned when we put the financial information, the bank, you want the back office number. So I think someone was asking for clarity of what do you mean by the back office number and how would they go about getting that?
It'll be listed on your statement or bond. It will be listed there. I think it's actually a requirement by the FDIC or one of the managing entities over the banks. I think it's a requirement that it has to be on there.
Okay.
If not, it should be right on their website. Contact us and just look it up.
Perfect. You know what? I'm actually going to pull up an example because I had an example bank statement that I was going to share if I was going to do screen sharing for you. So I'll just do that. I'll make it nice and easy on ourselves.
Perfect. Lead with an example.
Yeah. Nope. Not the right screen. One moment. Where did it go? I don't know if you guys can see that screen. Okay. That's not it. All right. How do you close out a screen sharing? Jesus, why is it not letting me do it?
It's your little green arrow button all the way to the left at the bottom.
Thank you. Clearly, I'm struggling. Oh my goodness.
And you go back and then click sharing.
Right here. Oh, stop sharing. Boom. Thank you. Jesus.
111 for you angel lovers out there. It's 111. Thank you.
Awesome. So I'm going to pull this up. Let me just do it again. Apologize, guys. Ironically, this is my first time doing it on Telegram. So here we are.
Congratulations.
I'm learning on the fly. I appreciate y'all patience. Let's go. Okay. Boom. Got it. Okay. You guys see my screen?
Yep.
See the example bank statement, credit card statement, for example. And then what you were just mentioning about the phone number most likely will be on the back, which will be most likely this page. Am I correct?
Actually, I thought I saw one right at the top.
Okay. Let's go. Right here. Building questions.
Bam.
Right here. So you're looking for the phone number that's on the bond coupon. Go ahead.
I was just noting the 444-3444 on the phone number.
Yeah. I love it when they include master angelic numbers in their phones.
So dope. I got this from Scribe. So I was like, give me a sample credit card statement. So I pulled this from Scribe and because I wanted to use it so we can reference about also these numbers at the bottom because we were trying to figure out, people were asking even in the chat, what numbers do we put down as the bond number or the serial number? So I have a 1522 up already. So we'll go back to that. So you can put this for the serial number. And I also have a 1522 right here. So tell me which one you would like for me to kind of reiterate using this
Well,
thing?
so that's what I defaulted to, was
Mhm.
exactly that, because, I've looked at my Discover statements over the last, 24, 25 months, and I determined that that's how I'm going to do that, is that number right there.
So whatever's at the bottom of that coupon or bond of your
Well,
statement, typically you would tear off, you would use that number. Is that correct?
and I want to point out, because this is just what I've discerned from this, I'm going to include this bond, this coupon, and I'm going to take a yellow highlighter and I'm going to highlight that number at the bottom of the bond. And typically, as you see here, it'll say available credit, payments made. I'm going to also highlight the payment made, because I'm going to want reimbursement for everything, that I've added to the bond. Right?
Okay. So right here for the enclosed amount, for example.
It tells us to have the supplemental, filing of the information to help them discern it. And to me, that's a very simple way to help them discern it, is to highlight what they need to know.
Wow. Awesome. So this number at the bottom, everybody, since we're recording, just using this as an example, and I can put this in the chat as well, the sample bill so you can look at it. The issue date is not today's date. So let's reiterate. When I was just messing with this PDF, I just put today's date, but it's the date of the actual statement date. Is that correct? We went back here.
Right. So when you look, okay, at the bottom, it'll typically have the first transaction of the statement date, like right there is 12/31.
Mm-hmm.
You scroll down a little bit, there might be another date that you see that's earlier. But I always just pick the first earliest date, because that's going to be the start of the statement. That's going to be the issue date for that month of bonds, right? So you
this would
see
be
that's the earliest date. Keep going up. You see that's the earliest date, is that 12/31 right there.
gotcha. Mm-hmm. Right here.
Oh, 12/30. Sorry, 12/30. There you go.
Oh,
Below it.
right. There you go. That's a transaction date, not the post date. Can somebody unmute it?
But,
Okay.
but that's the first.
Yes, date.
Issue date of that particular statement of account.
Here, look above. Statement closing date. What is this? You see it?
Yep.
January 29th. Would that be?
And 30 days prior to that would be 12/30, since they're doing a monthly statement.
Yep. So don't get caught up on the dates. Like, just pay attention to the oldest date on your statement. If you're going to do a credit card, this is just an example for us. And we would use 12/30 as the date on this, as the issue date here. This is for 12/30 2016, because this is an old credit card statement. And the serial number would be all the numbers at the bottom. It's like 35 digits, I believe this is. I just shrunk it because I added this text box in order to put it in there. But you had 30 spaces here. And if you run out of 30 spaces, you can go to this form. Or, like he said in the instructions, if you need more space, attach either FS Form 3500. This is the older one. But on the 1522, it says right here, if you need more space, attach either a list or FS Form 3500. So it could be just a list.
I'll give some clarification on that.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime you send a letter of instruction, letter of advice, anything to any financial institution, since you are the account holder, and this happened to me all the time, I would get a piece of mail at the branch from a client. And in that piece of mail would be a very large check, let's say for $275,000. But they would include a letter of instruction. I'm going to be out on vacation for the next 2 weeks, Kevin. Please deposit this check into these accounts. I want a certain sum into account number 1, a certain sum into account number 2, a certain sum into account number 3. So if you give them a letter of instruction and write out, the rest of your bonds, they have to follow that to a T. It is a mandate of the financial institution because you have to keep the record as the financial institution. So anything that you put in writing, they have to follow it to a T. Just nice little note for y'all.
That's awesome. Thank you for that clarification.
Absolutely.
1522 form and 1522A is an apple. I've heard different things. Which one is preferable from the leadership team? Which one do you prefer?
Let's clear that up right now. The 1522A was discontinued 4 years ago.
Okay.
So whatever form is their latest, you see at this one, it says revised November 2021. That's the latest revision. So you've got to use the latest revision. Now, the 1522A, the only reason that they discontinued using it is because it actually has all of the CFR, UCC, and everything else that you would use to enforce the document. They stopped putting that on there because they felt that it was a form of liability and they didn't want to give away the secret. But use that 1522A in case you ever need to enforce it. There's all the stuff you need.
It's on the screen. I just I'm showing that page 4 with all the codes and stuff right here.
Yeah, just slap them in the face with their own laws.
Awesome. And so just to be clear, everybody, we're using 1522. The overflow would be on a list, a separate sheet of paper, or you would use this page 35, this form 3500 here, in addition to. And we're only pulling from 1522A this last page, if needed. Is that good? Is that clear? Okay. So let me do the stop sharing situation. There you go. Boom, I did it. And I'm going to go back to what I had down as the other questions and see if I had anything else to ask on that. Oh, okay. So trying to get clarification on instructions. Do you still need to send in a copy of your ID if you had it notarized? Or is it not required it's notarized?
No, you don't have to. You don't. For those of you who've ever had a notary, they're going to ask you for your ID. They're going to see it and they're going to verify that it's you. So you do not need to send it in because the notary certification states that they've identified you by that identification. You don't need to send a copy of it because the notary is superseding that thing because they are notarizing it and giving you the judgment as a judge, as a judicial officer of the du jour state that you're in, the republic that you're in. So you don't need to send it unless it's under $1,000, right? Just follow the instructions.
And are we sending more than one of these 1522 forms for each bond? So if someone said, oh, I have 12 student loan payments. Do I do one for every month or do I do it lump sum it together? How will we give more clarity on that?
Well, I'd like to have an open discussion about that because I was posing this question to Tom and Josh and everybody I could pose it to because here's my thought process on this. So when I bought this house with my wife 6 years ago, and this is how God works, I have these amazing, prolific, what I call technicolor dreams, and the night before last, I was dreaming about this all night long, and right before I woke up, my wife and I were sitting at the closing table buying this property. And the first words out of my mouth was when I woke up, hey, babe, do you happen to have all the documents that we signed when we bought this house? And she goes, oh, yeah. She walks into the back room and pulls out literally a paper bag with handles on it that has all the documents in that we signed when we bought this house. So my thought process there is, okay, well, guess what? I made a bonded promissory note, which is the actual value of the contract, by the way. And stupidly, I've been paying the death pledge, the mortgage, the French mort, death, gage, pledge, right? I've been paying this all along. Well, that's a 30-year bond, right? But that promissory note's like $450,000 or more because it's amortized over the 30 years. That's the true value of the bond. So my opinion, and I'm going to try it, and believe me, I'm going to package that bond into what I'm doing here because it's going to have its own enumerated number on the promissory note. In my opinion, is that if they reimburse me for that, then I can frankly just pay off the balance of the mortgage. And then I'm going to get on my last statement the amount of payment that I paid, right? Then that's coming back to me as reimbursement because the note has been called, it's been paid, it's paid in full. But if you want to get back all the payments that you're doing, then you're going to have to use 3,500, use the full 30 pages. Because if you want back every monthly payment that you've paid, which I think you should, then you're going to do it that way. But I think we have some viable ways of getting back all of it, right?
All right. And that's awesome. Thank you so much for that clarity. That makes a lot of sense to me. And guys, just know that as you take the time to listen, and you will listen to this audio, I'm going to post it today after we go through, just after the call later on today, we'll post it. You'll get the answers. I promise you. It's going to take some time to digest and comprehend it, and then you can apply. You're not in a rush. You're not in a rush. And I know that some of us have some emergency things happening in our lives, but this is the answer for those things that are emergency happening in your life. But you got to be able to comprehend and understand exactly what you're doing before you do it. Get it settled in your spirit that this is the right path for you. So that would be my recommendation as well.
Yeah, I don't recommend doing anything until you fully understand it. Because you're going to have to stand on it. What if you get a call from fiscal services and you don't know how to answer? Well, if you have all these CFRs and everything, you've got right in front of it. Well, I'm sorry, sir, but this is an obligation of the United States, and I'm just trying to recoup everything in addition, to the bond that I've paid because it is a responsibility of the United States per CFR this, per that. And you answer that question, they're going to say, okay, I don't have an incompetent here. I've got somebody who knows their shit. And that's a technical term. Knows their shit is a technical term.
That's technical? Love it.
Yeah.
Put that in your glossary and smoke it. What about birth certificates and social security card? Because there are people asking about the other documents.
Okay, let's clear this up right now. So in our live yesterday, thanks for Ray, trustee Ray TTEE came forward and said that's exactly what he had done. Because there are other fiscal service forms that you can supply to them. The Fiscal Service 231 is an appointment of a fiduciary, right? And what Ray had told to the group on the live call was that, he appointed the head of fiscal services as the fiduciary. So he's the one responsible and turned in all those bigger documents. Now we have to understand that the Social Security card is the card that contains all the transactions you've ever done by credit. It's called a numinant report. And the Social Security has that numinant report of everything that you've done since you've started signing for the blue card person when you turned 18, right? What else is a bond that has letters and numbers on it? Your driver's license, your marriage license, the contract that you signed with the college when you got your advanced degree. All of these things are contracts that the United States is an obligor of. It's their obligation. Now, what he did when he sent those items in and appointed that guy, they called him back and said, this will take us at least 4 months. So my opinion is this: I'm going to pick some very low hanging fruit that I've already paid and I have record of, that I can send in as bonds to get reimbursed for, so I can survive with my 4 children and wife, my family of 6, so I can survive for the next 6 to 8 to 12 to however many months it's going to take them to do that calculation. Because believe me, it's every transaction that you've ever done using that SOC, and they have the records for it. So they're going to settle those records. And believe me, you're going to see the United States debt start to decline and decline and decline, because that 31 trillion that's hanging out there, or whatever number they're putting in front of the public, to view, that is money not owed to other countries. That is money owed to the people for allowing the corporation to use their good credit. So as these obligations are paid, you're going to see the beautiful debt start to come down. Clear?
Thank you. Yeah, so what I'm hearing you say is, don't be concerned with the birth certificate, social security card, and those things. Deal with the things that are your everyday bills that you can use to get to do 1522 and get the resources back for that.
Right. Put your oxygen mask on, because we just got a letter from a note from the captain saying, we're heading into some turbulence. I'm going to drop the oxygen masks down to you. And they always tell you, put your oxygen mask on first before you help anybody else. Right. I mean, these are comms, folks. And do that. And this is just what I'm going to do, because it makes sense to me. I want to get, some repayment of the things, because I've been a really good slave. I want to get repaid that is the obligation of the United States, of some low-hanging fruit that I know is on that numinant report, but it's going to allow me to be reimbursed, so I can literally have the, Federal Reserve notes, the FRNs, to survive until the bigger one is completed.
Makes sense. And to clarify, the serial number that you're putting on the 1522 is a number at the bottom of the coupon. I see the example in the chat for this Mr. Cooper coupon. It's the number that's at the bottom of that coupon that says 9207011 blah blah blah, not the one on the side that you highlighted in the chat. It's the one at the bottom, like I did when I was screen sharing. I showed you it's the numbers at the bottom of the coupon.
Well, now, and also, let's not negate this. If you look in that second document, it says legacy TDA. And let me, can I screen share real quick?
Go ahead.
Just to give you an example.
Yes, please.
What happened? What happened to my sharing capabilities? Where did my buttons go? Hold on. Oh, there it is. It's still amateur hour for folks. Sorry.
Well, I'll run it again.
So let's look at what those legacy accounts mean. The Legacy Treasury Direct System is a non-interest based book entry system maintained by the Treasury for purchasing and holding marketable Treasury securities, right? A Treasury security is maintained in legacy, blah, blah, blah. Treasury Direct or Treasury securities are held directly there in the investor's name, okay? The other one says it's a certain sum of numbers, right? So if we just read through this stuff, it's going to tell us what. So it may be, just as an example, you know, since I decided that, I'm going to highlight some things for them, for their eyes to catch, I might just highlight the number of the account, right? The account number. So if it's, that number at the bottom of the statement, or it happens to be the account number, they've got the ability to see both quite easily, right?
So the serial number would be the account number, or the full numbers at the bottom of the coupon. And you're going to
Yeah,
highlight it as a reference on that.
I'm just gonna highlight it so whatever they need, they have it, right?
Mhm.
But
Yes,
frankly, I have a feeling that once they pull our social security number, they're gonna see everything that they need to see.
that's great. That's really great. So this
Because
is step
they've got the master file. They have the master file. They're the
they, have,
trustee.
they do. This has been very, very enlightening. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We're gonna go through you guys go through the chat. Some of these questions have been answered already. So right now we're gonna open it up for Jeremy and for K Marie and for anybody else, Joshua, Tom, or anybody else that on the leadership team that wants to add more context to this conversation. Mute yourself, please, if you're not K Marie, Jeff, Kevin, um, Joshua.
I just want to say, keep it simple, y'all. Just keep it simple.
I have to step away for about 3 minutes, so I need to re-coffee.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, just we are and have been getting in our way for a lot longer than we've been privy to. We didn't know, and we hadn't recalled or remembered why we came here. And if we came here to be free and pursue happiness, well, we get to remember that now. And we have a beautiful community to grow and learn inside of. I caution people who are not acting or leading by example, because we're tasked now with being our caretaker. There's a lot of orphans and widows out there. There's a lot of people who don't have family, and they are tasked with being their own caretaker. So once we really learn our task and our duty in front of us, then we can start investing in ourselves. And I'll just tell you, the Father's not going to grab the microphone and fight for airtime. So it's really our job to quiet the mind, quiet the distractions in our lives, and pay attention. And where our attention goes, energy flows. So if we want to give that infinite, unlimited credit the energy that it deserves, then we're going to manifest giving credit where credit is due. There's not one of you on the call right now that could say to me, I never really took care of myself. I never ate and I never drank. I never went to the restroom and relieved myself, and I never slept for 8 hours. Nobody can say that. So everyone is due enumerations. We're here doing God's work. We're taking care of. If all you have is yourself, great job, you made it. But if you're some of these other people that are raising a family and raising a neighborhood and raising a business full of employees, my hats are off to you. Okay? Because we've had to put ourselves aside in order to raise others. And that's what I spent most of my time doing since 2009, was being an advocate and helping other people ship from sinking. My ship was always fine. I was always plentiful. God always provided for me. I always had enough, and I always had enough to give for my overflowing until COVID hit. I didn't even have enough money to have my dog stay overnight in the emergency hospital. And I committed to JoJo. I said, I'm going to create a foundation and a granting trust account in his name so that no one should ever have to put their dog down because they can't afford to leave him overnight. It's a helpless feeling when you cannot help others or your family or yourselves when you're down, all the way down. So y'all, we have a responsibility and a duty to take this on. And no one else can captain your ship. No one else can drive your ship. No one else can drive for you. No one else can get the crayons out and chart your course for you, right? It's on us now. And we can do it. This could not be made any simpler for us. We have a lot of things to do together. We have a lot to build together. Let's just get out of the dirt. I was in the chat the whole time because if I wasn't pacing, I had to come to the chat and I had to express how freaking excited I am that we're all here together, y'all. So don't think I'm not taking this seriously because I'm laughing and playing in the chat. This is the most important thing that's ever happened to me in my life. We are the voice for the voiceless, and we start with ourselves. And that's my excitement of saying, you know what, I love everybody, and I thank God you're all here, and loyalty to me means everything. So thank you for being here. Fucking let's get this party started.
Come on.
I got some clarification from our lovely Robin in Costa Rica. She says that the bond number is the account number with confidence. So like I said, we're going to give them all the information that they need. But to me, they've got the Nibitent report. They've got the master account. They know what I'm talking about.
Can we clarify that the inscription part on the 3500 form? Can you pull that up and go over that form a little bit? Do you mind?
Let me pull it.
Because on the 1522, it just asks for the issue date and the serial number. But on the continuation form, it asks for issue date, base amount, and bond number.
Well, let's clarify. Let's clarify that. I had this conversation multiple times with Tom and Josh and everybody else. Well, when you have that opening statement, because you'll get the first statement, which you can access, in your records, if you've got a bill online, whatever, or you can frankly call them and say, I need the first statement. That'll have the issue date. They'll have the face amount. That's going to have the original amount. It's going to have it on there.
Like if it's a credit card or your mortgage, you're saying would be the original amount of the loan.
Right. Or your original credit line.
Okay.
Because where else did they get that credit line if they didn't pull it from the SOC? It's where they got it. It's from the SOC account. Face amount's going to be on that statement, that first statement. First bond.
And the bond number is the account number you just mentioned, correct?
Yep. Like I said, I'm gonna highlight all the things that they're gonna need. And also, I'm of the belief they've got the master file. They know exactly what we're talking about here.
And if you guys notice too, on the 1522, there's no amount there. It's just simply the issue date and the serial number. You don't have to tell them amount. You're literally giving them your source document, which is your statement, and they're going to pull it. They're going to do what they need to do. There's no guessing. You don't have to try to help them along any further than by giving them the source document.
Okay. Confirmation from Robin. Yes, that's all correct in what you were saying. Thanks, Robin. I love you.
Thanks, Robin.
Love your face. Can't wait to hug you in person. Another technical term from Lawrence, good shit.
I'm so here for it.
By the way, my telegrams are getting lit up, folks. You don't need to see all this. If you haven't figured it out, I pal around with a lot of people in this movement, and have since the W4 days. You know, I was very close with Heather Thorpe, otherwise known as Hollywood, and God rest her soul. She's an angel that's battling for us and with us on the other side now. And I cherish every single relationship that I've had, all the amazing people that I've connected with in this fight, in this war, because we are at war, and we're taking this republic back right now in real time.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This has been so amazing. Now, guys, I want you guys to go into the chats. I want you to go through the chats and get you a study buddy. Get you somebody you can partner with that you guys can go over it together, listen to this audio together, and ask each other questions, and then go through the chats and see if you can find the answers. Because they're there. They are there. I'll keep this folder open.
I'd like to say publicly to all of our service members that are on this call, and to everyone who has a heart to hear it, that I cherish every single one of you, and thank you for your service. I spoke to a Marine this morning at Sam's Club while I was on God's quest to refurbish and restock our one of my volunteer things that I do is that having a wife that's a school teacher in the district, you get voluntold to do things like be the president of the booster club, and last night we got wiped out at the basketball game, so I had to quickly resupply them this morning while we were having a live wrestling match at the high school. And I met this old gentleman at the Sam's Club, and he had a Marine hat on, and I said, "Thank you for your service, Marine." And I'd like to thank Jeremy. Thank you for your service, Marine. But I told him, I said, my father was in the Army in Korea, but he was a smart man. He took an MO that nobody else wanted. So he was stationed on a Air Force base in Tokyo during the whole conflict because nobody else wanted to change the the light bulbs on the airfield. So 1 weekend a month, he would go out and change all the light bulbs to make sure everything was functioning and available for the planes coming into the Air Force base. And he kept his nose out of trouble. But thank you all for your service. It means a lot to me personally.
It's been a pleasure. It really has. And being able to continue to serve is the tip of the spear for us, because we transitioned and started something or are part of something. And it's important for Marines getting out, because we have such a tight knit brotherhood inside. Outside, that tends to fade, and we get around people that don't see life the same way. So yeah, it's an accomplishment for us, and it's a great pleasure as a servant to be able to get out here and create community and have such awesome folks come together and resonate on the same frequency and share the same ideas and the same path moving forward. For a long time we thought we were alone in this, and now we're finding our tribes. So they might not necessarily be friends and family, but uh, when we meet them, we know how important they are and how they're going to impact our lives. So we cherish that, and it's a great honor to be a part of this. Thank you.
Yeah,
Jeremy, I'll tell you one of the
every
amazing
on this live is exactly the idea of the America that we were fighting for. So thank you, everyone, for participating in this to make it all worth it. All the sacrifice that we all had to put in. So thanks.
one of my many amazing clients that I had while at TD Ameritrade happened to be a guy by the name of Paul, and he insisted that I call him Ammo because he was a Marine, and there's a huge, huge biker club of all former Marines. They're called Leathernecks. And there's a big chapter here in Kansas City, and I want to do an outreach program through him um, to bring these folks on board, because man, we can just get a hold of some great honorable Marines through that level, because I want to go into their club as an invitee to give them some of this information, because man, we could do so many good things, because those guys do outreach programs to affect their communities. And man, we're just at the precipice of starting to have some fun.
Josh, were you going to say something?
Josh served us in the Army, and I'll tell you a quick story about Josh. The moment that we met, we were ride or dies. Literally from the moment that I gave him his first bear hug. And a lot of you don't know that the battles that I've gone through in this movement, and their personal physical attacks. Last June 27th, I got attacked by the police here locally and physically assaulted. But I escaped, and I hid out at my 3-acre property here in Grandview while they stole my car and took my property and did all the shit that they do. And somebody reached out to Josh because they knew he was here in town and he was my ride or die. And I get a phone call at 5:45 the next morning, and Josh was a scout in the Army. He goes, "I'm in your neighborhood. I've scouted out. I see no police. Come out the back of your property into the cul-de-sac that's right behind your property. Just hop the fence and I'll pick you up in the cul-de-sac." And that's exactly what happened. Just as I was crossing the fence to go through my neighbor's backyard, incognito, uh, I called an Uber to be out front. I gave a decoy too. Josh picked me up and he took me all the way to Nebraska, because I didn't know what was going to go down from this point. They had just assaulted me, and I didn't know how far they were going to take it. And Josh took me to my brother's farm where I was well defended, if you catch my drift. Thank you, brother.
My pleasure, brother.
I really love how we can meet each other in this virtual world and become like family. And because you have people that actually see you and hear you, understand your heart, and can relate to you and really be supportive and loving. And sometimes better than your own family, in my opinion. So
Well,
this is such a beautiful thing that we have going on here, and I'm so grateful. Go
come
ahead,
to
Kevin.
know the fact that those people who are coming together, we are all family on a whole completely different level. We are what I call soul family because our souls have played so many games throughout eternity together. We resonate in such a frequency that brings us together wherever we are at. And believe me, the angels and archangels are here and among us and are on this call. Okay. I literally have the insignia, the sigil of Archangel Michael in the palm of my right hand. My middle name is Michael, and I am an Aquarian, and my age is gonna be amazing.
Love, love, love. Well, guys, this is the first Recoupers chat session that I have hosted and that I have seen thus far, and for this live call. And we're so grateful that we have over 235 people, 36 people here today, which is amazing. And you guys have been so patient and gracious to us all through this process. And let's continue to grow
Two,
together. Is there any more comments?
238 officially, which numerologically is a 13. 1 plus 3 is a 4, which is money on your keyboard, folks.
There you go. And 4 is supernatural. 4 is the number of supernatural. Let's not forget that.
Absolutely.
That's the trust. The foundation of every trust is 4.
Yep. Trust the plan. Think mirror. Plan the trust.
And guys, don't worry, we're gonna have more of these live call Q&As. We just have to figure out the schedule and how we're gonna do it. Today's topic was only about the 1522. I know many had many questions. Many people are new to the Recoupers group or just new to this community. But go through the topic folders. There's plenty of people there that has probably already answered your question. I personally, as one of the admins of Recoupers, is gonna try to be more comprehensive for the newbies and give them probably an orientation type video of what they should be looking for and how to navigate in the group a little bit. But I'll get with Jeremy and the other admins to figure out the best way to help the new people navigate through. But as of right now, this is our first live Recoupers call. And like I said, we have over 3,500 members, almost 3,600 members in this group. And every day on average, no lie, no matter what time I wake up and look at the group, there's at least 300 to 400 people online. Seriously. So as you can go in, there's plenty of people posting. Also bear in mind that as you're posting your questions, make sure you do your research. There's plenty of information out here, not just in this group, but other phenomenal groups as well. So share, support, love, and be there for each other. And Jeremy, Kevin, Josh, Tom, Days, there's any more last little things you want to say or comment on before we end this session?
I just want to give a giant thank you for everyone who's in attendance today and for those that have special meaning to us in our hearts why we do this, because I've got 4 children that I want to see live a different life that I lived. I don't want them to struggle like I struggled, and I want to see them embody the dreams that they have to make them absolutely come to fruition by manifestation into their own reality so that they can live the best life of their existence. And that's why I do this. And it's for everyone on this call and this thousands upon thousands of people that you can affect in a positive way to bring them, as Kim Marie says, out of the dirt and to make this country great again. And I really truly believe that that's the whole meaning behind a lot of movements right now.
Thank you. Jeremy?
Man, it's awesome to see everybody come together. It's awesome to see this information get spread. It's awesome to see the receipts in the chats, the forms getting passed around, the information. Troopers, it kind of started as a fallback from Redemption, if y'all remember that. And some stuff happened over there and it went private, and some people's laptops had gotten hacked, and the owners, co-owners or admins, they got a little spooked by it. So no biggie. We just regrouped and started Recoupers, and it has absolutely blown up, mainly in part from the information. But now that we have this crew, it's gonna expand exponentially. Dr. Heather with her organization, Kimry with her spirit and knowledge, everyone else coming in with their spirit and knowledge. I mean, it's been a phenomenal year. I started this in January, and this was kind of the goal in the beginning, was to get the community together, get the information in there, get the community vetting the information, get the community producing receipts with the information. So that way we could take a lot of the gatekeepers out of the equation. And we could clarify a lot of the information, a lot of different processes and stuff, and get something that it was quick, it was easy, for folks to grab onto. And one of the biggest things that has impacted me so far in this was the information that Kimry brought with the ESs and Vs. I already knew the trust side with the 1099Bs, the As, the Cs, the INTs, the 1096s, this and that, filing federal withheld and getting that back, and how to pull them down, how to get your 24% of those of the interest, and this and that. I mean, it's phenomenal what we've learned in just a year and what we've been able to get out to the people in just a year. So Recoupers is an amazing asset that we've given to the community. It's for us, by us, the old FUBU saying, but it's for the community and the information. There's no reason why you should pay for stuff that's already out there. You just need someone to point you in the right direction, and that's what Recoupers is. So all the credit is to the admin, the staff, and the people that participate. I'm just kind of here. I'm still a student. The community's teaching me just as much as I'm providing a connection for people to come together on. So love y'all. Greatly appreciate y'all's help, and man, growing this platform and supporting me over on TikTok. I don't really do much anywhere else besides YouTube. I repost a lot of this over on YouTube, so people can go back and watch it at their leisure. And but TikTok's been my baby, and that's what's grown and helped me create this community. So love y'all, appreciate y'all, and thank y'all.
Tell us when your live is tomorrow, so for people that don't know, because I think you do it Sundays, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, every Sunday at noon, Central Standard Time.
Okay, Central. Okay. So noon Central, go over to TikTok. That's where Jeremy's doing his lives every Sunday at noon Central. Okay, Marie, take it away.
So I'd like to end it with a prayer. Can you hear me? We're going to end it with a prayer. So, as always, Heavenly Father, thank you for wrapping your angel wings around each and every one of us and giving us the real I. Thank you for helping us on our journey from the head to the heart, where the real law is written and where the revelations will rise from. Thank you for everybody remembering their relationship with Source, that which created them. Thank you for everyone starting to remember that we are the cartographer of our own destination. There is no one above you other than that which you are made from. So in that we have dominion. We have a clear path. We've been told we're eternal. We've been told it's unlimited. So Heavenly Father, we thank you right now, today, this day, 11/7/2024, 2:03 p.m., for that which we cannot see. And we thank you for that which we've been able to let go of. We thank you for the peace that we have inside of our soul as we have reconnected with our tribe. And we are here as the scaffolding. And we are here to be used. And we are so grateful that you tapped us on the shoulder and told us it was time. In your precious name, and all who sacrificed to carry the news that we are no longer dead, we have risen. Thank you for everyone who's been carrying the torch, lighting the pathway for all of us. Thank you, Lord, for everyone you've brought together here in all of your sons and daughters, Christ office name. Amen. Oh.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you, everybody. The live chat, just so you know, will be closed. Go back to the regular topics. You can go back to the live chat to look at it and review it, but you won't be able to comment in about 5 minutes more into the 1522 live chat Q&A chat. But you can go back into the regular recoupers and look at all of that there. And I will send this recording out before the end of the day. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, have a great day.